So we're talking to Dean Lombard from Renew, who has received some grants money from Energy Consumers Australia to work on his project around solar batteries and trying to make sure that those resources can be kind of plugged into the grid and consumers are getting the benefit from them. So Dean, just quickly, just tell us, when did Renew kind of identify this as a priority area and a project that you guys wanted to spend some time looking into?
I guess it sort of grew out of experiences that we had doing our sort of home energy advice service and also our involvement in some local council run solar bulk buy schemes where we basically found that, people were buying solar panels and then finding that their network was limiting how much they could export back to the grid. And that was an issue for people, partly because the revenue from exporting to the grid is usually part of the economic calculation that people make when they're making such a big investment. So it was really sort of thrown a spanner in the works there. The explanation was the impact of solar exports on the grid and causing voltage rise in the network. But the way that networks approached it seemed a bit arbitrary. There was one in particular who basically let people export as much as they liked until they had 30% of connections with solar, and then they would just cut off zero exports. You're not allowed to export anything. It seemed arbitrary and a bit unfair. So we just wanted to, we knew it was a real problem, but we wanted to understand the technical problems better and sort of try and identify better ways of managing the problem that were actually better for consumers as well as for the network.
Well, maybe just tell us a bit about the kind of work that you undertook to try and solve this problem, and maybe just talk a little bit about how you kept energy consumers at the center of this work and the thinking around how to kind of make all of this happen.
Well, we really knew that we needed to understand what the technical problems were that solar exports could cause, and also understand what different types of solutions, how they would work, and how effective they were. Now, we really wanted to keep consumers at the centres. We're a consumer organisation. So the first step in the project, even before we hired the consultant, was we worked with our reference group to basically write some customer principles for what we call principles for DER management, where DER is distributed energy resources, which is normally solar panels, but it really could be anything. It could be some new type of tech that hasn't been invented yet, but that generates energy or that stores energy. So we basically developed a set of principles with reference to other sort of customer principles that were already around, looking really, I guess, trying to achieve our main goal, which was, well, we recognize there's a problem. We need to deal with the problem in the networks effectively and efficiently. But what are the ways that are both effective and efficient from the network side, but that also help retain maximum possible value both for customers with solar and don't put additional costs onto customers without solar? That was where our principles was at aim, trying to find the right sweet spot that meets all those needs.
Are there any things you would kind of identify as a particular success off the back of this work at this point in terms of energy networks and the broader energy sector using some of these recommendations and the principles that you've just laid out?
There was a lot of really important things that came out of this project, and one was simply just documenting all those issues and solutions in one place. It hadn't really been done before. And just setting up the dialogue between different networks, us as consumer advocates, other consumer advocates, and other groups like some energy retailers and solar industry buddies. It was really good to form this, respectful dialogue body where we could all talk about our own perspectives and work on a solution sort of together. So that was really important. Everyone was keen to be involved in this because they knew it was an issue that had to be dealt with. And the networks, they know that they approach things from a certain point of view, and they saw the value, in the situation being flipped around where they were trying to get their voice heard in our process rather than the other way around. That was a really good experience for all of us. It was sort of like a great sort of equalizer, I think. The project's findings were a bit limited because of a few reasons to do with the complexity of the issue. We're actually starting a new project to delve deeper into it and do more work to get broader findings. But even the findings that we already have, they've already sort of been able to inform sort of consumer advocacy in network solar management proposals and in the broader national conversation that's happening around integration of distributed energy resources into the national grid.
So, Dean, if people are wanting to find out more about this project and get access to the reports and the methodology and the principles online, where's the best place to find that information?
Oh, look, the best place is on our website. We've got a page on our website that tells all about the project, has links to the reports, tells about the future work that we're doing. So if you go to our website, renew.org.au, and if you just type in the search bar distributed energy, you'll find a link to the page, which is called Enabling More Distributed Energy in Our Electricity Grids. And that's got all the info about the project.
Beautiful. Thanks for the chat, Dean.
Thank you.